Welcome to Encounter, where we celebrate putting faith into action and community leaders who live out compassion, grace, and love. We're a program of the Broome County Council of Churches that addresses food insecurity through CHOW and the Greater Good Grocery, provides hospital and jail ministry, builds wheelchair ramps, and assists neighbors with transportation and shopping services through Faith in Action volunteers. We invite you to the conversation. Encounter your neighbors as we learn to walk together in love and kindness.
Good morning and welcome to Encounter. I'm your host today, Joe Sellepack, the Executive Director at the Broome County Council of Churches. One of the gems of our community, if you were to ask me, of things that really sell the Binghamton area in general, is the Discovery Center. The Discovery Center was one of those programs that my kids always liked to go to when they were in elementary school, all the way up through middle and high school even. They loved going to the Discovery Center because there were a lot of things that went along with various developmental things that they were going through at school. And it was one of those things that I always liked going to too, as a chaperone with my kids and get to play with my kids at the Discovery Center. And play is a huge part of what goes on at the Discovery Center. And to talk a little bit about what's going on at the Discovery Center and the Storybook Garden, which is right now in full bloom, are two of the folks from the Discovery Center. We have Dr. Brenda Myers, who is the Executive Director at the Discovery Center. So thanks for being on Encounter today, Brenda.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
And we have Nancy Hargrave, who is a full-time volunteer at the Storybook Garden. So thanks for being on, Nancy. And you have a long-standing history with the Discovery Center, too.
Yes, I do, yes.
All right. So what's going on at the Discovery Center that you want to talk about, Brenda?
Well, we're so excited to be here and appreciate the support. The Discovery Center is all about community and partnership. And we really do feel that we are the place where children come to play, and we value that time for them to play. We celebrate birth to about age 12, so we have a wide range of activities both in the museum and in our story garden. And we also run a full preschool, after-school programming, and right now summer camp is going beautifully this summer. So it ends up being a very special place for the community to come together. We are celebrating 41 years this year, so we do have this interesting history. People come now and they can tell you the story of when their children were there, they're bringing their grandchildren back, what were their fan favorite exhibits, We always make sure that our two favorites, which have been with us since the beginning, the Giant Bubble and the grocery store, they love to have those, and then they want to know what's new, like the new WB&G exhibit, Dick's, or Dinosaur Dental. So everyone's kind of looking for what's happening at the Discovery Center and where will the children play.
So right now we're at WB&G, and you just opened a new exhibit there, right?
We did. This is a great partnership. We have a brand new digital exhibit where children can be newscasters, sportscasters. They can have Pet of the Week, and of course be the weatherman with the green screen, while parents can watch them on a screen live, and they can watch themselves. So it really does create a beautiful interactive exhibit. Some of the children read from the scripts, and some of the children create their own, so it's always fascinating to watch them.
Now Nancy, you've been with the Discovery Center when we were talking, you were actually involved with trying to raise money from the beginning. How has it shifted? How has it changed over those?
The mission of the Discovery Center has remained the same. They're very true to their interactive play, learning by doing. It's always been that way. The Story Garden edition we see it as the enhancement, the value added part of it. So you can be outside and inside during the good weather, of course. But I would say the mission has been the same for these years. The narrative of play, learning by doing, and interacting with your family and friends in a positive way.
Now it started off at Columbus Park.
It's Columbus School.
School.
In the gymnasium of the Columbus School, which was occupied by the state office building people. When the transformer fire happened, I'm sure you remember the transformer fire in the state office building. The employees had to move out of the state office building.
I've heard of it. I was not here.
Okay, into the Columbus School.
Okay.
And that gave us an opportunity with a functioning, running building with electricity, water, security, parking. They let us use the gymnasium area.
And then, and now you're located up near up near the zoo. Is that correct?
So we're really fortunate. We have a tremendous partnership with the city of Binghamton.
Right.
We have a 25-year lease to be in Ross Park. And you
Okay.
may know Ross Park is turning 150 years old
Wow.
this year.
Wow.
Ross Park has not only the Discovery Center, but our wonderful zoo. And also we're going to be reinstalling the carousel. So again, a beautiful part of the community. When you come into the park, the Story Garden is actually free and accessible to the community from dawn to dusk.
So we're going to talk about the storybook garden because obviously, Nancy, you're the full-time volunteer with that. It's gone through a milestone as well, I think.
Well,
currently.
It's a milestone every day that we were open, I think. Well, under the direction of Dr. Brenda, it's really taken off, and we have a brand new section that I'm sure that everyone is going to be really thrilled with when we have the ribbon cutting. But yeah, a garden, it's like you're planning for the future when you have a garden,
Right.
because a garden grows with its community. So yeah.
And why is this important to the Discovery Center, Brenda?
So with our commitment to helping children with integrated arts, with STEAM activities, with cultural events, with understanding their world, so much of that is this outdoor space. And probably during COVID, we all learned how important those outdoor shared spaces were, right? So our children come out and they have these play areas where they just engage with not only watering the plants and digging in the mind, but there also we have a police station, we have the Three Bears house. But when Nancy was mentioning how we've kind of stayed true, when you go into the Story Garden, you can find all the letters of the alphabet, you can count, you can sit in multiple places. So key to the Story Garden, you'll find benches, and next to the bench is a mailbox, and in the mailbox is a book. And so there are places all throughout the garden for the children to read with their families, to find that special time. We have a beautiful pavilion and amphitheater, so they have a place to enjoy a little snack during the day. We have birthday parties and pizza parties out there. So it really is a beautiful shared space.
The idea was to foster literacy in a way that's not, it's a unique way. So like Dr. Brenda was mentioning, there are things all around that pique your interest in a literary scenario. We call them outdoor rooms. Each area is supposed to evoke a quality children's book. We started our garden not with, okay, how much are we going to plant? What books are we going to use? And fostering the imagination of our young visitors so that they can go right into the narrative of what they're seeing and doing.
Now, I can't help but see that there was a Giving Tree, Shel Silverstein picture that kind of came up on the screen here. So, what you want to talk a little bit about, like that specific one, because it really does give you a sense in which how the book influences the exhibit itself.
It's interesting, we have in the middle of our garden the celebration tree. Originally, the whole garden was going to be revolved around the book, The Giving Tree. But if you think of the story, that's basically at the end a stump.
Right.
And we thought we could do better than that. So, yes, we started with the idea of the Giving Tree, but we improved on it. We made it better. Now we have the celebration tree.
Right, and really, I mean, because the whole idea of the Giving Trees at times, I think, is a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard because it's basically saying, all right, you make yourself a stump, And you don't ever want to be like a stump. You always want to be a player within it, right? So
That's exactly
right.
right.
And the celebration of life and the celebration tree kind of gives you that sense
That's exactly correct.
of what you're looking for, right?
That's exactly correct.
Yeah, very cool. Well, this is awesome. And so, as far as having, how many? I remember I asked you this question at Rotary when you did this presentation there. How many books are we talking about? That
65.
Are 65 books that are and you can go through that. Each story has a.
Some areas have more than one book.
Okay.
For example, we have an area that we call the Friendship. It's a small little boat, and it has, you can learn sign language, you can use a rock run to create creative play with your friends, but it has like 4 books in the mailbox right there. And then across from it, there's the foot book with the footbridge. And so it's different things for different areas. But I think one of the favorite ones, of course, would be the Lorax. The Lorax is a very popular book in a very popular area. And some of them, the kids and the families don't know. Like there's a Suzanne Bloom book called A Splendid Friend Indeed. And we have an actual sculpture from that book where you can sit on the sculpture as a bench and read the book.
This is awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
And it sounds like a lot of fun.
It is. We say, come for the fun, stay for the flowers.
Now, Brenda, there are a number of objective goals that you have for the Storybook Garden, and they've been flashing up on the screen as well. Do you want to lead us through what are some of those goals that you have for the Storybook Garden and instilling this? What are you hoping to instill in the life of children?
So it's interesting, if you think about when we design a new exhibit, it kind of goes to that genesis, right? So we have Grammy's Garden. We had family who wanted to remember their grandmother, and she loved gardening. So then what we did is built a pollinator garden, and then we had to put in Grammy's bench, and then of course we had to select the books that would go, and their grandmother loved the peonies. So you'll find these rich, beautiful peonies all around this garden bench. Now you come there as a family, you can enjoy the book, you can sit and rest for a while. We can also learn about pollinators. We have our preschoolers come out and work on pollinators as well. And that whole exhibit in itself creates a learning environment, but it also creates this shared space. And it has a highlight on literacy because the storybooks are there to follow the theme. And if you take that, you can go around the garden and see that same replication at the police car, the same replication at the Three Bears. Very special story. When we were putting in the Chipping Challenge, which is dedicated to Kim Meyer's husband, her children wrote their book for their dad. Wow. And actually at the ribbon cutting read that book at the exhibit, which is just so special. Just, like those are touching moments and really show you that power of story and how enduring books are for families and children.
This is so really, I mean, what we're talking about is a type of interactive life and a shared space for multi-generations.
That's really accurate.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and so every person who goes into the garden can actually feel as if they're learning something through it.
Our visitors teach us how they're using the garden, and then we watch them, and then we try to make it better for all of them, to make their experience the best we can be.
Now you had invited my wife and I to go through the Storybook Garden. Like adults themselves find something in this, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. For example, just a small example, you can become the human sundial. On the one area there is a series of numbers and the months of the year. If you stand on the month, your shadow tells the time. Wow. And that's always a big aha moment. Come on over, let's try this, let's do it. And then they look at their watches and they check it out, and they come away with some small understanding about how we are part of nature. Look, even our shadow tells the time. So, yeah.
If you were to go into the garden early in the morning, you will find more adults than children.
Oh,
and you will
okay.
find adults finding places that are meditative and reflective. You'll find couples who sit on a bench and just admire and find that peaceful place to rest and to reflect. So we find in the garden it's not only this very busy place for play,
Right.
but we have a large number of people who come. We also host book clubs in different events where people will come out and just enjoy the garden and enjoy their time together as adults, as well as the play spaces for children.
And my guests today are Brenda Myers. She is the executive director at the Discovery Center, and Nancy Hargrave, who is a longtime, faithful, full-time volunteer with the Storybook Garden. And we've been talking about the Discovery Center in general, and also about the work of the Storybook Garden and how it impacts families in our area. So as far as like the Discovery Center, Brenda, what are some things that are happening there that you want to let people know about and get a sense of what's going on?
Sure. One of the things we had mentioned is that people are looking for what's new. And so we are right now in the second phase of installing the Enchanted Cove.
Oh, so wonderful.
Which is a brand new playground area outdoors. So we've built a 2-story pirate ship, which is a big highlight with the children,
yeah.
right, Nancy? They're loving that. And we've just finished an installation of a magical music garden and fairy house.
And there's the pirate ship right
That
there.
is the pirate
That is
ship.
the pirate ship in all its glory. Children are enjoying it so much. And again, that theme of narrative, creating play. What character are you? Out in the fairy garden, when the children are playing these beautiful musical instruments, you can hear it throughout the garden, because you know how fairies like music, right, Joe?
Well,
I love
do.
to hear that.
Yeah.
And we're getting ready too, because access is most important to us. We've worked really hard to make all of our Story Garden available to people who are in wheelchairs. And so we have a new exhibit that'll be opening with the help of some of our donors that is a rock and glide, and it has a dock and a dinghy boat, and it's completely wheelchair accessible. And that'll be a fall installation. So we're always looking to our community to help us. We're trying to put some more shade structures out there, make it comfortable for our guests as well. We need more sitting areas, because people do like to sit and rest for a while when they're in the Story Garden or when they're inside. So the Discovery Center is, this is our season for really developing our exhibits outdoors. We did mention we have 2 new indoor exhibits with Dinosaur Dental and WBNG. And we are getting ready right now. We have a series of events that are our hallmark. We just had a beautiful Lost Boys and Fairy Dust Day with over 500 guests and children dressed as fairies and Peter Pan. It was a beautiful day.
That would have been awesome.
August 23rd will be Truck Day. Now,
Oh, wow.
Truck Day is one of our largest events of the year, and we will fill the Discovery Center with large trucks and fire trucks and backhoes and all types of large equipment that children can climb on and play on. And it really has become quite a stellar day for our children in August 23rd. And then, of course, we also have adult events. So we just had our signature Wine and Roses in the garden with hundreds of guests enjoying music and food and coming out to play in the Story Garden. And then we'll be getting ready for our Trick or Trivia, which we host in October. So again, as a not-for-profit, we're always working on how to keep our admission price low and how to have extra fundraising and how to build partners so that we can expand our exhibits and our opportunities for children.
Because one of the things that I love about the Discovery Center is that you don't want the entrance fee to be prohibitive, especially to children.
Yes, absolutely.
And we know how difficult it is for many of the children in our area to actually have a childhood, let alone visit something that can impact them like the Discovery Center can.
And Joe, I'm so glad you brought that up, because access is key to the Discovery Center and our board. And we have a couple of initiatives. One is our admission is $10. Memberships are at quite a reduced rate if you get a year-long membership. It costs about $32 per visitor to run the place. So
Right.
we're always trying to close that gap between the admission price and the cost. But we also have, we are a museum for all national site. And so if you have an EBT card, the cost is $3. And every first Friday is a free evening for our families from 4 to 7. So again, when people can come out, we also have over 100 field trips a year. We find that that is a key to access. When schools bring the entire first grade, we know that all children get the same experience.
Yeah, this is a really important thing because seriously, there are becoming very few places where, like the Discovery Center, where you see these different types of people. You have different classes of people that are all coming together. So you have the poor, the rich, anyone in between those two things. It's one of those places where everyone feels welcome. And they find that there's a lot going on that they can learn from, especially as children. That it's just an important thing for our community, I think.
And we really focus on being multi-generational and multicultural, right? That is
Right.
who we are. We do hold the only children's ethnic festival in the region. This year, Kids Kaleidoscope, we had over 20 countries represented. We end the day with a beautiful fashion show representing all the countries that are in our community, right? And that's how our children learn. What is the food? What are the customs?
And we have an amazing history of immigration in this community, don't we?
Yes, yes, and it
Yeah.
continues to expand.
Yeah, and well, this is pretty cool. And when does that take place?
That's always a spring event for us. It'll be in March.
In March of next year.
Yes.
This is really, really kind of a neat thing. So as far as volunteers, like we have a full-time volunteer here, Nancy. What are some of the things that you do for the Discovery Center?
That's a very good question. I strictly volunteer on the outside. Well, I shouldn't say that. In the winter, sometimes I'm on the inside. But there's so many things to do outside and inside. There's these special events and toddler time and all these activities that happen on an ongoing basis that they're always looking for people to help. But outside, we like to cultivate groups that come. For example, Binghamton University in a few days is sending a big group of new students as a team building activity. And they're going to paint and weed and plant.
Right.
And oftentimes our big problem is raking leaves. So if anybody likes to rake leaves, we've got leaves for you to rake. But the underlying thing is we're making the gem of the community, the Discovery Center, its value-added component even better. You think, oh, I'm just raking leaves. But since it's free, and
Right.
since it is a conduit to the Discovery Center, everything we do outside benefits the inside. Everything they do inside benefits the outside.
And really is like an extension of the Discovery Center. So in a lot of ways, it's I always talk about parking lots. You can tell a lot about an organization by
That
how
is
well they
very
keep up
true.
their parking lot.
That's true.
And if you have a lot of love for the organization, well, then your parking lot's going to look good.
But Joy, I appreciate your asking. So if anyone has a group that they would like to have come help, we have a volunteer coordinator, and if they just call the Discovery Center, I'm sure people will set them up with opportunities galore.
Now, do you have so that would be the way that that folks can access the volunteer part?
Yes.
So what is the number that they would call?
It's 607-773-8661. Or go onto the website, as they say.
All right, and if you go onto the website, will you find a
Volunteer.
volunteer way to go through that?
Yeah, we have a link right there, and it has the connection for you and the email address for the volunteer.
And if people want to give to the Discovery Center, because I'm sure I know what nonprofits are like. I'm an executive director myself, and so we're always looking for donors. How can people give to the Discovery Center?
So a lot of our donors come in a couple of ways. One is some of them like to donate to the garden in memory of someone. Right now we have a tree planting, and people can make a $1,000 donation and have a tree named after a loved one. So we often have that. We also have people who want to actually develop exhibits, and so we craft that to meet their need and to meet the need of the children, and those donations are very important. Obviously, the donations also that come in to support the Story Garden, the Story Garden runs at no charge, so you can imagine the hundreds of plants that Miss Nancy and the team put in. It's an ongoing, people always admire it so much, but each one of those plants comes with a cost.
Right.
So, donations are really welcome to help us with the Story Garden, and we designate those dollars for the Story Garden, which is very helpful. So, donation is always a gift of time or a gift of treasure. Both of those are very much welcomed at the Discovery Center and always needed.
And if people want to be involved in donating, can they access that through your
Yes.
webpage?
Again, on our website, we do have a donate button that people can use as well.
So, Nancy, how much of your work outside is gardening?
I would say 90%. I also interact with the school groups that come. We want them to have the best experience possible, so there's activities we do. And then the other part is planning, which is the most fun. What are we going to do here? How are we going to make this better? How are we going to improve it? So 90%, 10%, and that's not counting the sweating part.
And so if there are people that enjoy gardening, because I know that there are a number of them in our community, we have some beautiful gardens.
Yes, we do.
That are in the area. That is one way, that one type of volunteer that you're looking for at the
Absolutely.
garden too, right?
And we have all the equipment and tools. People say, I have time, but I don't have anything else. We're happy to show you how to do things and give you the equipment to use too.
And do they normally do that during the day, or are they able to do that on weekends and evenings too?
Not really on weekends or evenings, mostly during the day, during the week.
Okay.
Sometimes we have big groups on weekends to volunteer, but normally it's 8 to 4 during the week.
During the week. Excellent. And so they can go to, what is the Discovery Center's webpage?
Mm-hmm. So everything for us is thediscoverycenter.org. And so that's our website. That's the easiest way to find us.
All right, very good. And in our last few minutes, what are some of the hopes that you we have 1 minute left. What is your hope for the Discovery Center into the future?
Dr. Brenda, you take that.
So I think we have a shared dream, right? That the people who work for the Discovery Center are tremendously dedicated. The board of directors tremendously dedicated. And what brings everyone together is we believe, beyond anything, that every child deserves a place to play. We learned during COVID that play matters.
It does.
That play is how children develop cognitively, how they build their narrative, their sense of self, how they explore their world. So we consider ourselves to be the premier organization to help children and families play in the Southern Tier.
Brenda and Nancy, it has been a pleasure having you on Encounter. Thank you for being on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
And for all of you, I hope that you would also learn to have that spirit of play in your life, and that you would be kind and generous to each other. Have a great day. And we have